This is Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Your way of tapping into the Force from a galaxy far, far away. Hello there.
Hello, what have we here? Here's where the fun begins.
Count me in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Today, we continue our coverage of The Acolyte with Episode 5 titled Night. It was written by Cora Donna and Cameron Squires, directed by Alex Garcia Lopez. I am Colton Robertson. I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, man, and it is a pleasure to have you tonight, rather. We're recording a little later, getting the episode out a little later.
Mm-hmm.
Life happens, stuff unexpected crops up, but we're getting it in. We're getting it in.
Yeah.
Man, I loved this episode. The Acolyte has been nice. It's been good. It's been a pleasant viewing week to week.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first episode of Star Wars TV in a while that's been, like, riveting. Probably since Andor. I mean, live action Star Wars. The Bad Batch has some really, really, really good shit.
True.
But when it comes to live action, I would say this is the most riveting and probably, like, there's some stuff you could call in Ahsoka very, like, there's some intense stuff, but nothing quite here. And same with The Mandalorian Season 3. I don't think it quite has it like this does. But
I'm rewatching this.
I am.
That's like
I think I watched it 3 times. I watched it 3 times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've totaled it 3 times as well. So I mean that has to equal something. I don't know. I mean, I guess we had more time to watch the episode before the recording, but I don't think I would have rewatched even the first 4 episodes really, like in the way I wanted to rewatch this episode, and I wanted to dissect every little detail.
Yeah.
And
I automatically obviously watch every episode twice because I take down the scene by scenes in the second viewing, but that's usually my last viewing before we record. Is so I don't get to absorb it, I'm watching it, typing it, watching it, typing it, watching it, typing it. I'm not really feeling it, but this was one that I was like, I need to watch that again so I know what I'm feeling going into it, because that was the more important part here. And I mean, so going forward, spoilers galore for The Acolyte, episode 5. It was heavy. It was heavy. It was a lot. It is the High Republic, baby. I don't know why I deluded myself and forgotten that this is what the High Republic is.
What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing now, man?
Yeah.
But I'm here now. I guess we're in it. There's no going back now. But wow, yeah, it's the High Republic is nuts. Yeah, no.
Yeah. No, there's a great quote from Cavan Scott, one of the main story architects for the High Republic and a writer of The Rising Storm and a couple other great High Republic novels, where he says, "I'm not just the writer who kills your favorite character. Like, don't do that to me. I'm the writer who kills your second and third favorite characters."
Wow.
And I feel like that's that's pretty accurate for this one.
Dang. Yeah. It's nice to have these numbers, though, that we can afford to do this and not, it be such a devastating loss. I don't know. I guess we did have quite a lot of Jedi in Attack of the Clones, but OT or OG, OG Star Wars time, not really.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It is nice to have kind of no stakes, but still the stakes of losing the character that I like seeing on screen.
No, yeah. What makes the story makes the story tick, and it's incredibly, like, I knew we were fucking with the Darksider. I knew the description of the series prior was the rise of the Sith within 100 years before the prequel trilogy. Like, I knew that was 100 years before the Phantom Menace, the Sith plant their seed or something like that. It was something like that. So, like, I knew that. But whenever he goes, "You Jedi might call me Sith," There was there was a gravity to it that I was like, oh fuck yeah, you know.
We're in it. We are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where he stands on the list, but yeah, also that. Yeah, dude, I want
him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to be him. Yeah, I want to
I want him.
I mean, in every sense of
sense of the word. Manny Jacinto as Chimere is unbelievable. So he got, I mean, everything. Character, scene, performance, line, shot. It's all Chimere related.
Yeah. Major spoiler. Jackie gets an appearance in one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But it is her end. So
dude, I want to okay, I forget that we do scene by scene. I was going to dive right into it, but let's go ahead and do this scene by scene breakdown. We're very happy with the episode. Let's fucking get it. So, we open on Osha awakening after a nasty throw from Darth None. She rises to find Pip and trips and falls and finds herself in the aftermath of a brutal fight and one dead Jedi sitting there. But nearby, she spots several Jedi dueling a single red blade wielding person. And he fells several extremely easily with a brutal, fast, strong, offensive attack. It becomes clear his helmet is constructed of a metal called cortosis, which I was trying to figure out why I knew this. I read a lot of Star Wars. You will get to cortosis in the next book of the Thrawn trilogy.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thrawn Alliances, there is a large sect of the story dedicated to the mining and trying to possess cortosis, as it's important for this and stuff like this. So that's what his tech, that's not his tech, the metal that his helmet and his little gauntlet is constructed
of the metal.
Yeah, that's just something the metal does. It's not even,
so it's like Beskar on steroids. It's like not only can it deflect, I guess it can be destroyed. I mean, I don't I guess I don't know. We'll get there, but whoa, that's really cool that it's just within the nature of the metal itself.
It's almost I'm like, I imagine that if you you can't hold your lightsaber to cortosis because it deactivates, but if you were capable of it, it could destroy it. It's just like it doesn't have time to destroy the cortosis because it's deactivated so quickly.
Does one of his
same thing for blaster bolts
destroyed though? Does it?
No, I'm pretty sure his wrist thing lasts.
His
helmet gets separated. There's clearly a mask and a back part, but it seems to be put back together by the time at the end of the episode. But regardless, she trips. We see him just go to work, including one of the nastiest fucking moments where he impales a Jedi, force pulls a Jedi behind them, impales that one in a lightsaber sandwich, pulls the lightsaber out and beheads them both in one swing. They
had to, have some trees cover the beheading because it was too gnarly at that point. If they showed the beheading, then it would be like a different TV show, I feel like. But oh man, imagine if we just got
the throne style,
gnarly Star Wars. But this is as close as we're gonna get.
No, I mean we talked recently about the suspense, the suspense building. There's a cool horror to the idea that exactly what happened behind that tree. Seeing it is one thing and that's fine, but for a fact that he either took their heads off, or maybe even worse, sliced straight through the middle of both of their heads, which either way
they're not the
is
same
fucking
height,
bad.
No, one of them's getting a clean cut, the other's not, or they're both not. Either way, they're both already have been stabbed through their midsection. So
not likely they're going to make it out, but likely they are still alive. There's usually a second where they are, that you maintain a certain livelihood for a moment. So they got to experience the beheading,
maybe, a little bit on Darth.
Darth Stranger.
I don't know. Yeah, Darth. What shall we call him? They did call him Stranger in
the subtitles is what he's been referred to as. Maybe, I'm cool with Stranger. That's what I eventually refer to him as for the most part.
Darth Stranger or Stranger for now.
I
like it.
But so he manages to wound Yord as well in the fight, clipping his leg. And as he closes in on Yord, Osha aims her blaster at the bladed man and fires. It does absolutely nothing. He just kind of looks at her like, now what the fuck? Why would you do that? And Yord gets to channel his inner soul. Osha, run, he yells. And she does, as May watches from her hut and picks up Kelnaka's lightsaber. And in her runaway, she is pursued by the Darksider, who throws his saber at her. Mm-hmm. It is stopped by Soul, who faces off with the man. Now, these are the small logic things that I'm curious about when it comes to the Stranger's motivations. I don't think he has any desire to kill Osha. You know, like, it's like part of his plan. Like, he knows he won't get her with this almost, which is interesting because I was thinking, like, at the end of the last episode, if he wanted Osha dead, he kills Osha when they're face to face. You know, he doesn't chase her, throw a lightsaber at her, and cut her down that way. Mm-hmm. But I liked that detail that he's kind of toying with everybody throughout the whole episode.
I think I think that's his ploy. I think this is. I mean, dude's got a plan. The dude, like, whether he wants a pupil, and there was a plan for May to do something, but I don't think this dude just stands stagnant, just existing. I think he's got something cooking on his own, and it feels like he wants to dismantle the jet. Like, at least if they call him Sith, he's just trying to show the Jedi how useless they are from his perspective,
right.
So I think, I don't know. I think this is like just he's trying to get them to be the complete opposite of what they are, and anger, like bring out their anger, and this, going after May, just seamlessly trying to kill her, I think is what gets Soul to come out and be like,
fired up.
All right, I'm fucking gonna slice you. Yeah.
So. He stops the saber and faces off with the Stranger, and he instructs that O should be taken to the ship, civilian to the ship. And after a moment of hesitation where she kind of refuses, he force pushes her to Yord, and they take off. And Soul eyes down the new mysterious figure. And as they run off together, Osha insists to Yord that they must go back. However, Yord has too much respect for Master Soul. He says he was given an order. No, we're not going to do that. Osha's like, she notices he's wounded. She's like, okay, maybe we, let's get you a little further away. But back at the face-off, Soul asks the Stranger who he is. And the Stranger implies a history. You don't remember me? Which they did come face to face, in episode 2. But
there's something.
Have a theory.
Okay. I'm glad.
In parallel to Osha and May, Soul was taken to the Jedi Order at 4 years old. And he says there's a familiarity, but if it was that familiar and that recent, perhaps he would have been able to clock that it was the potion seller. But maybe it goes back a little further than that. And maybe Chimere is a little brother who was just a wee babe when Soul was born. And maybe there's some sort of knowledge the Jedi possess where it's like, well, they're siblings. Perhaps it's a danger to bring him into the Order because we already have his older brother, maybe there's something there. Now, when it comes to the actors, there's a little bit of a problem with that theory, as Lee Jung-jae is Korean and Manny Jacinto is Filipino. So it's not precisely the same by any means. But there's a larger history at play than I think just 2 episodes ago. However, if it is just 3 episodes ago, I don't have much beef with that,
Because Yord has a moment where he recognizes him. Could have just been from the potion, could have been that. But that one might have been previous to. Maybe he was just in the Order and he left.
It could be.
He has a saber, maybe just off of one Jedi he killed, but like Does he bleed? How do you bleed that crystal? You know, he's force sensitive. Dude is
Obviously,
dude's got dark,
absurdly powerful.
He's a Sith, like, or a dark side user. I get, you know, maybe it just doesn't fucking matter to them. Like, even at this moment, like maybe that's why the Sith, like, this is the start of the Sith, is that it's like, I guess the idea's always been there, but maybe this is like just when the cult starts, or like has the Sith in name existed long
the Sith
before.
Is pretty ancient.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
like there's I mean, like, canonically they haven't touched that, you know, like all we know is the implied history is that the Jedi and Sith millennia ago had like a full-blown war before the rule of two was established, and even the rule of two was established hundreds of years before this, you know. So it's like
so no,
it exists, you know, but
gotcha.
Operating under the same assumption that the prequels do, you know, whenever they're like the Sith have been extinct for a millennia. It's kind of this is the first time that they do the Maul thing. You know, like, they've been hiding in the shadows, cultivating generations of power, essentially, as they kind of imply with Palpatine that when your master dies, their power is kind of passed on to you in a way. Like, when you strike them down, they join you almost. So, like, they're cultivating generational talent, essentially. And I think Chimere, I like the idea. I've said it many times. He is the apprentice to somebody.
Yeah.
You know? And there's actually a member of the cast who was announced who we have not seen.
Was he in that picture? Yeah, the evil photo shoot that you sent me, or no?
No. That's just Manny Jacinto, Charlie
right.
Burnett, and Daphne Keene. But
okay, then
it's a gentleman named David Harewood who's in a lot of great stuff. I like the actor a lot. But given that we have not met him, feels like he's the elusive figure we have not met yet in some capacity. So. There's an element to him that feels like he's on his own. I mean, he's doing his own thing, the way Dooku did with Asajj Ventress, the way Maul did with Savage Opress, the way, you know, like the way apprentices do. Like, this is something they do so that they can cultivate enough power to kill their master. That's what they want to do, you know? And I really like the idea that that's what Chimere is working towards. While simultaneously, I do think there is, you know, it doesn't seem like there is a personal vendetta per se, like he was personally smited, but he feels that the Jedi are just a tyrannical entity and wants to tear them down. In his way, this is a rebellion, you know, in his mind. Which is cool. But it's this face-off grows heated. Soul replies, you know, that there's a familiarity, and they trade blows again. And when they part, Soul says, "You carry a Jedi weapon, but you are no Jedi." And back at Kelnaka's hut, Jackie ambushes May. They have a quick hand-to-hand fight, and Jackie attempts to place her under arrest for the murder of Indara, Torben, Kelnaka, and her village. And their fight continues in parallel to Soul and the Stranger. And Soul, back with that fight, says, "You trained May. Show your face." And the Stranger then implies that the helmet protects his thoughts in some capacity.
Yeah. Magneto.
So, He says, you know, and then let you read my mind or whatever.
And maybe my other thought is, if it didn't, that it's just like seeing someone's face in battle. Like, I don't know if is that enough? Is that what he's meaning? It seems that
was my other thing, is that I do think there is a potentiality where it's like the Jedi sense emotions, and, you know, like, we sense emotions, but the way we do that
facial recognition
is facial recognition, body language. So maybe a Jedi's power is just heightened. Like, they can you do the slightest you do the slightest change in your face, and they know exactly what you're about to do. You know,
they can just detect the absolute minute. Yeah,
I like the
changes.
idea that the helmet does shroud him in a way. Like, my other favorite idea is that this is a Sith relic. Like, this is a Sith helmet. It possesses its own dark side nature that shrouds him in darkness anyway. I like that idea a lot. And it's funny to think, at like last episode when they're getting ready to hike through the jungle and he's got that giant fucking bag.
It's just that's the shit that's in there.
He's just got his helmet and his lightsabers. And
it'd be so funny if we listen back and it's just clank, 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 clank. Like I don't know if you can just hear him in there. I don't.
Right.
I don't know.
But yeah, this was a strong moment though, where he's like, unless you read my mind, no. And Sol inquires, what kind of master hides his face from his pupil? And the stranger replies, you tell me. And I was like, yep, that's hard. That's fucking hard.
You know the history. You know the tea. Sol set himself up for that one. So yeah, they just kind of suck there. But
I am curious though. It does feel like Chimere has a certain
dude was in the order. I don't know. That's kind of my only thing that can explain a lot of it. But and that I feel like he knows, like he knew Yord. In some way, I don't know. I feel like that goes deeper than the No, there's no way. Because if he did, then when he
would have recognized him. It would have been potion
like, so no way Yord's relationship actually goes deeper.
Yeah, and that's what's tough is that Manny Jacinto isn't. He's not Sol's age. He is Yord's age. He's about that. Like maybe he's a little older. He is. But how much does age matter when it comes to apprenticing a Sith? Especially when you were shrouded, you covered your face. There's no real telling. Yeah. So it's hard. It's hard to say. And I'm trying to think of a way that, like, there were no men in the Coven. Is there any way they ostracize any potential boys that are born? I don't know. The children seem to be sort of they were a oddity. They weren't a commonplace thing, So like,
he got in my head, and he just got to stay there. And then, but my mother. She seemed to be able to do that, sort of thing. Is that just a dark side? Is that just a dark side?
I think it's clear that he doesn't do the same thing that she did, where like the eyes turned black and it's almost like a mind control thing.
Yeah, that shit's wild.
I do think it's more similar to like Ezra and Kanan and Rebels whenever they'd see Vader and were like, what the fuck? Like it's not really. It's just the dread that comes with feeling a Sith. I think it's not like it's unshakable. It's just kind of like your power is unnatural, and I can feel that it's unnatural.
Okay. Yeah, but man, what a character, man. He's just.
Oh, dude, I'm in. Like one of the most dead ass. I don't think I've liked a villain this much since Kylo and the Last Jedi, and before that. I don't think I liked a villain that much since Maul and Anakin, and even then it was mostly just Anakin. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's I kind of like him. I'm liking him more than I liked Kylo. Like faster, I guess. Like I don't know if he'll beat Kylo, but he's kind of like. He has a strong.
No, I like him, and that's my thing. I've talked about this a lot on our podcasts. I'm not a villains guy.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't love villains. I fucking love this character. Yeah. Whatever that and it was something that, I suspected, obviously. We all were kind of like we were all almost like it's too obvious.
So like it's
there's going to be a twist.
So it's a red herring, right? Because it's so obvious. No, okay.
There was we'll get to that a little bit later, but I didn't realize how much I liked him until I knew he was the Sith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I suspected, and so, like, I kept him at arm's length. Then I knew, and the second he shows his face for the first time, I was like, you know what? I think I fucking love this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think it's important that they are towing an interesting line in terms of heroes and villains. They are making it seem that, I mean, obviously, that the Jedi aren't being honest, that they are lying, that they aren't being the heroes, you know? And I think it's cool to paint the Sith in a way that is almost anti-heroic, not villainous, but like an anti-hero. Like he's exacting revenge on behalf of, like, they're exacting revenge for whatever happened then. And obviously he takes out a couple of our favorites along the way, which makes him an outright villain. But
but
it's very interesting.
He disarms, like, himself, like, and he takes himself out of the fight, and then makes the Jedi fight him. You know, like, it's, I don't know. He's trying to prove something, or he's, and there's just layers to him. I don't know, and you know, him looking really good helps.
I mean, it's the hottest anyone has looked as a villain since pre-Crisp Vader. I would say hotter than that. I think
I'm comfortable saying this is peak hot.
This is the hottest somebody's ever been in the show. Like, I didn't have time to mourn. You know, like, Jackie's body collapses, and I'm like, he's too hot for me to care. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we'll
get
to that,
like he's too, like, he's all of a sudden too attractive for me to even be concerned with the fact that one of my favorite characters just died. Like,
the costume design from last episode.
Oh, my fucking God.
Like, him.
Yeah.
I slept on him because I'm like, there's no, like, if he is the Sith, I'm like, that'd be a disappointing, like, you know, it's not like Kylo Ren. At least Adam Driver is just a giant human. He's tall. So, like, even if his
he's
face,
imposing.
You know, like, whenever he's revealed, it's, like, young, and you're kind of like, oh, that's not exactly what I was expecting. But then you're like,
that's a fun subversion,
I dig him.
You know?
But, with Chimera at the beginning, I'm like, if he's the Sith, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, can he really pull it off?
Fucking brings it, dude.
Oh
my God,
he pulled it off.
To say the least. But we'll get further into that later. But back with May and Jecki. May lands a blow with a knife, and Jecki screams. And elsewhere, Osha worries for her. But Yord assures her that Jecki is a Jedi. She can handle herself, and he says he needs to get her to safety. That thing is too dangerous. And Osha asks, "What is he?"
Yeah.
And Yord doesn't know. He doesn't follow the rules of combat. There's no method to his movements. It doesn't make sense. He gets in your head and he stays there. And Osha says her mother could do that. She saw it once. And Yord gets them back on their path, searching for Basil and a way out.
Yeah.
But,
man, I mean, just, you know, Yord, maybe he's just so by the book that it doesn't make sense to him, and that's why. But, like, everyone seeming to not, I mean, a lot of people die here, and, like, Soul doesn't keep up with them even well. So, like, I think the dude's just got it like this. His fighting style is, like, it is crazy. Like, whenever, like, even the short stuff that we've already gotten in the episode, it's so fast. And, like,
I think another reason that he's so interesting is that when it came to Vader, when it came to Maul, even when it came to Palpatine, when we saw them do their thing, they were visibly angry. There's, like, a collectedness to the way he goes about what he's doing that is really compelling.
Ooh.
Like, it's the fact that it's like nothing to him. You know, it's not like he's not visibly channeling that anger. You know, like when you watched Anakin do it, when you watched these characters do it, you watched them snarl, you watched them get mad and that turn into more power.
Yep.
But the ease with which he uses it at the end of the last episode and the way that he is just beating their ass, like, there's, like, it almost seems like there's a mastery to his dark side power that
we haven't seen him angry. Or I wonder if he does.
Or is,
you know,
or is it like Hulk and he's like, that's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry.
You know, but no yellow eyes here. You know, we're not seeing the pure.
I didn't think about that. That's true.
So,
you know, that's interesting because that doesn't mean that he's giving himself all the way to the dark side.
I think my kind of read, I guess, is that whenever he this is jumping a little bit, but heals May at the, or not May, Osha at the end.
Osha.
And just like he has just abilities, like all of that. In the dark side, like usually it's like you have to take from somewhere to heal. Like the healing has to come from somewhere, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's saying like like crazy beings we are, I think what he's getting at is like that we have the ability to decide what lives and dies. And like I don't know, he's more of like a philosophical dark side user. I don't know. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean like it'll be really, really compelling to rewatch the first couple episodes, knowing for a fact he is the Darksider. Like we already suspected it. I remember speculating about that in the first episode, being like, he says peace is a lie, which is a line in the Sith code. And
where does that come from? The Sith code.
The Sith code. That's just something that's existed in the lore for a very long time.
That's cool. It feels weird to read. It feels like I'm reading like devil worshipping stuff, but it's
like an incantation that I should be
it's like I shouldn't touch it. But no.
No, there's a really good book called Path of Destruction, which is about Darth Bane.
I know
they refer to the Sith code a lot. Like it's like, I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me. They meditate on peace is a lie. Like I'm going to I am actively stoking my fury instead of trying to be peaceful. And like I think that's super fucking cool.
Damn.
But yeah, all of a sudden I give a shit about the Sith again, which is credit to Chimere. But Soul and the Stranger continue to go toe-to-toe, and when the Stranger kicks him back to the ground, he disappears, and he reappears to ambush Jecki in her fight against May, whom she has disarmed and handcuffed.
That, little sprint up that he
we
did?
haven't. It's not quite
that
this.
Wasn't that one?
That's a little later.
Okay.
But yeah, that is my favorite. Like that might be my favorite shot, aside when it's just his helmet and he's like, coward,
that one.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
what
this is like, he's just, it's the camera's on Jecki and like you see him in the background just like,
up. Yeah.
He's like just running so, I don't know, just like so quiet, but just, and like Jecki notices him at like the last second. Like, I don't know, it was just so... The dude is
I was talking about when it's like zoomed in on his helmet and you can see, like, I loved that. But that's immediately following this scene. But Jecki goes blow for blow with the Stranger for a while.
Yeah.
Impressively so enough that he commends her, saying that May could stand to learn from this Padawan. She's a loyal pupil. And she attacks him again, and her saber is shorted, so she whips out her other blade, and when her dual sabers are activated, it feels like the tide has turned.
Yeah.
She backs him down, and this May runs away when she sees this opening, and the Stranger sees this and locks in, bears down on Jecki, destroys one of her sabers, and once more disappears.
Yeah. It's like he didn't even want to kill Jecki until May is getting away. Like it's and what do we like? Is it? It's just a show. Is it for May? Like it's all a lesson for May right now. I think that this is just like, this is what you decided to do. This is what I'm like. Look at what I'll show you my power. I think this is maybe just a sheer expression of his power. Maybe, I don't know. Like, is there? Because I guess,
I mean, he says they all need to die. I think that if he can kill her without locking in, like he will, and I think he ultimately does. Like Jecki is.
Isn't that whenever he takes his mask off, and he says, "Since you've seen my face, you have to die." But like
that's
before
true.
His mask is off, he's.
That's true. He doesn't kill her. He doesn't kill her until he's unmasked.
He doesn't kill. I guess
he doesn't kill. Like she unmasks him, and then he immediately kills her.
I guess that's it. Yeah, it's like.
So yeah, that's a good idea. I hadn't realized he doesn't kill Jecki until that moment.
Damn, if she just didn't. if she wasn't
Knock
good
off.
enough, to take
Bro,
his mask off,
I gotta
man.
say, they weren't fucking around when they said that this features the best lightsaber duel since the Phantom Menace. I'm 100% there. I gotta say, Daphne Keane and Manny Jacinto are the best natural-born lightsaber wielders since Hayden Christensen. Like,
And
they
they're
are
gone.
so fucking good.
And they're gone. What?
Well, Manny Jacinto's still around.
Oh, okay. Okay,
he's Chimere.
That's well, I mean,
but Daphne,
I was talking, just Jackie. It's just like, oh my god, she was toe to toe, like going crazy, dual saber.
dude, the dual wielding,
was
the way she like spins and stuff, like god damn,
my
she was cold.
God.
Yeah, I saw there was an interview with Daphne Keane on Good Morning America just a couple days ago where she was talking about that training process, like working with the sabers and how that's like a, like that's an important part of the job when you're playing a Jedi.
Dang.
Like you, and there's been like behind the scenes training videos of her and stuff, and like she is naturally like she got good at it quick, and that's another credit to Manny Jacinto as well. Is he insisted that he's doing it, that under the mask, whenever he is doing whenever he's going crazy, that is
That's
Manny
nice.
Jacinto.
That's
like
awesome.
he is.
Oh, I didn't even know he got the performance already.
But
I
that
was hoping,
seals it.
I
The
was really
physicality
hoping.
that he has is just insane.
This is, I don't know, maybe too cheesy to admit, but I've always wanted to be able to do a roundhouse kick, and I know that if I were just to randomly attempt it on the street and I were to need to do it, I would look like an idiot. So, like, I
Right.
want to do it in the privacy of my own home a couple times and, like, just slowly get better at it. And it's just,
Right.
I'm still nowhere near actually roundhouse kicking anybody, but it's one of my slow progress things. And, Chimere kind of kicked that into ultra drive. Like, I want to train in martial arts now. I don't know, I want to
Right.
learn how to actually fight.
Dude, his
and just,
physicality is fucking insane.
Ooh,
Like
like,
there is it's unreal.
yeah, he's nuts. But
And I love that they had him in baggy, big armed clothing because they knew for a fact you'd recognize his arms. If not,
dude,
they were like, those arms are too good. We're gonna have to hide them until we reveal who you are. And then they were like, when we do, also you're gonna be sleeveless, so like the whole thing's out. Like they like Leslie Headland for a queer woman.
Oh, they know how to
Really appealing to the really appealing male figure there.
Say what you want, hate people, but at least we get people that know how to make other people look really hot. Like, we're getting the hottest looks.
I was at the point when I was watching this, when they reveal Chimere in that moment, where like, if I hadn't already come to terms with the fact that I'm not entirely straight, it would have shaken me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been like,
it rippled the waters.
Oh wait,
yeah, no,
I was like, wait a second, I'm attracted to that man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now I've been cool with that for a good year and some change now that I'm certainly not straight. But that, like,
this,
I was like, if I hadn't already, it'd have been like, Happy Pride Month. Let's go ahead and get this going.
Someone out there,
Yeah, someone out there just realized.
Yeah, I mean,
like, that's how hot Manny Jacinto is as Chimere.
That's
like, it's
crazy.
absolutely insane.
Happy Pride Month. That is, that's just that's a cool thing. That one. There's at least one person out there that might just be like, damn, I actually.
And it's like not even a question. Like, that's a guarantee
there is
that I
one.
have within my soul. There is, of the millions of people who watched this episode, there was somebody who didn't realize they were into dudes until they saw Chimere. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and maybe they haven't realized it yet. But it's a slow burn.
Right.
It might be a slow burn. Or
that got the ball rolling.
It has. Maybe there has been that one that has.
Yeah, maybe it crystallized. But no, like, I was, like I said, distracted. Like, when Yord gets his neck snapped, I was like, well, hey, at least the last thing he felt was his biceps on his face. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I felt in that moment.
Yeah. I mean, if you gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's not fun, but like, hey. Beggars can't be choosers, But
yeah. Poor Yord.
But yeah, the stranger locks in on Jackie, slices up her saber, and disappears. And elsewhere, Yord and Osha happen upon the Umbra moths, and she tells him to sheathe his blade. They're attracted to light, and they continue moving. We then see the stranger chasing May. That shot I was talking about earlier. Coward. It flashes to him, and then it goes, "You were going to betray me," and it does the same thing. And he swings at her as she asks his forgiveness and claims weakness, and he concedes this point. "You have always been weak." And he slices off her handcuffs, and when he is ready to end her, supposedly, Soul interjects, force pulling him away, and Jackie goes on the attack, swinging her saber from behind him.
Sick move.
And they super sick move.
That was cool.
And like an alley-oop for trying to kill somebody in the Force. But it's like getting hung by the rim. Like that's what happened here. But and they do well for a time, but May tries to escape. Chimere chases her down. Force pushes her against a rock, and she finally gets a moment to breathe briefly. And May calls to Osha through the Force. And Osha immediately concocts a plan. At least that's how I read it.
Yeah.
It might just be how it speaks to her, the Force, but I'm pretty sure that's May being like...
May kind of locked in there, May kind of went like, fuck, like kind of like Osha. Like it seemed that at least the editing as well, just the cut,
straight cut to her
felt like it.
But she immediately concocts a plan. She realizes he will kill them. He will kill them all, and she decides to draw the Umbra moths to them. And she tells Yord to follow and run. And as the fight proceeds, Soul's blade is deactivated by the stranger's helmet. He fares extremely well in hand-to-hand.
Wow.
In fact, better than with a blade by like a lot.
Homie just
this is the part that Lee Jung-jae, Manny Jacinto and Daphne Keane are incredible with a lightsaber, but Lee Jung-jae started fighting hand to hand, and I was like, God damn, bro, is good.
And it's like force sensitive hand to hand, and they're like super light on their feet. I love that, like the shots of like of how light Chimere kind of is, like kind of just tap. He's
when
like
he jumps up,
and then he does just crazy shit. It's like,
well, and that's the thing that's so interesting about him is that his offensive style is obviously it's brash and it is brutal and he is on the attack, but there's still a grace to him that you just don't get out of a lot of Darksiders that I think is really interesting.
It's just not angry. I don't know. That's a good pickup that he's not angry. He is. He is collected. Dark.
Yeah, it's weird. And it makes him the most compelling villain of any Star Wars thing in a while. But
is he? Is it going to be a Ronin situation? I don't think so. He's I mean the Jedi are seemingly cops right now, but I don't think all of them deserve to die like this. I don't know.
No. So yeah, certainly not. And that's the thing is that it's just these specific Jedi obviously did something that they covered up, and I don't think it'll be something where I'm like, oh, well, they deserve to die for that, but I do think I'll be like, oh, yeah, not good.
Maybe I don't feel as bad.
Yeah, right, and so that's interesting, but yeah, like Vernestra Rowe. I don't think Vernestra Rowe deserves to die. Given what I know about her, I have the feeling she's going to cover this up hard. Going to the Yoda school of cover-ups. But so that's where I'm kind of thinking she's at. She'll go to Kofar. She'll investigate. Those bodies don't come back from Kofar. They're missing. We can't find these Jedi. We don't know what happened. Now that does not fare well for Soul. But I'm like, if there's no way that anyone reports back that they came face to face with someone who said, "You might call me a Sith,"
it's the first thing Soul's going to tell him.
Yeah,
that's
you'd
the first.
think.
It's the first detail.
Unless he tells Vernestra Rowe and she pockets it. She goes,
"Nope,
don't come back to Coruscant. Go here next. Figure this out over here. This happened. Let's." Just keeps him away almost.
You Jedi say I can't exist. That's a. I guess we haven't gotten there, but that's kind of a. I don't know if it's a loaded line or not. Just like they're very against the Sith, and that makes sense. But like,
and wielding the Force in a way that is unnatural. Like they were obviously very against the Coven as well, and it's not. They're obviously not Sith, but they wield a darker power.
but is he saying that like you obviously know we exist, but you're saying that we can't? You know, like is he aware of that fact? You know, or is it just simply we go against your nature? You don't want us to exist, but you know, he's like, you say we can't exist. But like, I feel like if you like study the Force, like there's always like a balance. Like that's just in every Force lesson ever.
Well,
I don't know.
I think, yeah, and I think that there's a really interesting parallel they make between the Jedi's perspective of Chimere and Chimere's perspective of the Jedi. Whenever Yord goes, that thing, you know, like it's not. I don't know what that thing is, and then he goes, was that its name? Talking about Jackie. That is my favorite line. Was that its name?
Yeah.
That's just delivery, everything, but just how like heart-wrenching it is. Like, oh God, like there is but like that's an important comparison. I think they are purposefully drawing is that like, you know, he doesn't view the Jedi as human or as a person. I shouldn't say human. Jackie's not a human, but doesn't view them as people, and they don't view him as a person either. They view him as a monster.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, it's they are playing with the whole matter of perspective, you know, from a certain point of view, what I told you is the truth, you know, and I think that's a very common thread in Star Wars. But yeah, it's doesn't go well here. When Soul goes hand to hand with him for a moment, he pushes him off the ledge. And in that moment, Jackie pounces. She even knocks off his helmet. But when she does this, he swiftly pulls his saber apart, making it two, and swiftly punches 3 holes in her torso, killing her. I love the suddenness of the deaths in this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. I had
and it's
clue
like I don't even think it's jabs. I think he's like pushing the button 3 times, like like he's ejecting the saber. I don't think it's boom, boom, boom. I think
you're
it's
right. That
you know, like
oh my god, yeah. In the
well, and then
the samurai,
he shows that he's about to use it that way. On Osha too, like that's how he holds her at saber point.
Yeah,
like and then he puts his saber to Yord's head and is ready to use it that way. You know, like
God,
and that's fucking cool. But yeah, you were about to make the Ronin samurai connection with the double blade, the longer blade and the shorter blade. Like that's fucking pimp.
Oh yeah, it's nice that we have it in live action now somewhere. It is. I don't know. It works, and the fact that it is in the same, you know, it isn't two
it's
different
in the
hilts,
hilt.
You know, it's like it's just built in,
and it's not a dual. It's not a dual saber either. I don't think he can eject it the other. Like he has to do this.
Imagine he just flips it the other way, attaches it, and then it can become.
Ooh, that would be cool.
If that happens, cool. I'm gonna blow up. But I mean, I'm already in love with it. Like just the fact that he waited to pull it out, like he needed it to be a surprise so that he could.
Well, and that's the thing. The moment she pulls off his helmet, he ends it. You know, it's not like it's because that's the thing is this shows that he could have ended it at any fucking point.
Yeah.
You know, Jackie is going hard. She is giving this her all. And obviously the duel, like them coming up on him, running him up together, finally isolates Jackie. She knocks off his helmet. He's like, okay, well, that's it.
Fuck. You have to die.
It's over.
See ya.
And the way Soul screams no. If Manny Jacinto wasn't so good as Chimere, Lee Jung-jae would have been an easy choice for performance.
True.
Not just for this, but for when he's like holding his saber at his neck and stuff, and he's like the tears are in his eyes. He's like his mind is twisted by darkness. You know, like he is. Like it's really fucking good.
Soul had a good shot too of him like kneeling down.
The saber, the saber out to the side. Oh God, so good looking.
We got some fucking.
This is some Star Wars, like you know, like this is some fucking Star Wars right here. I love
the jungle with some sabers. Thank you.
Have some fun.
Like
yeah,
like oh yeah, but Oh.
But she collapses, revealing the face of Chimere, which is my favorite shot of the episode. We've already gone over how hot he is. Don't need to beat that horse into the ground. But
it was just
Soul.
I don't know.
Soul looks down on her. Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, like just the. I mean, and then on the flip side, whenever he screams no, and then they show Jackie's face and the reflection of the sabers in her eyes and her like. And then collapsing and revealing him standing there and just like, God damn, it was cold. It was so good. And I loved it. A strong moment. I hate to see the character go, but that's a good way to do it. And there was a great interview.
Come back though, they just don't be a human or a different.
And I invite that. Yeah. Daphne Keane, heavy makeup. Probably going to come back. I hope come back in some capacity. I would love that. But there was. I'm trying to think. An interview that was released today from Entertainment Weekly. Like they knew this was their episode. Like they knew this was. There was an Entertainment Weekly article that came out today, a cover shoot that had Manny Jacinto and Osha and May, and in an interview with Leslie Headland, she says that she knew people would track it. She knew people would go, it's probably Chimere. She knew for a fact that was going to happen. She doesn't think the best thing in a twist, which I agree wholeheartedly, is just subverting expectations. Just going, you thought it was this guy, but it was actually this guy. And now we're going to recontextualize everything and you won't really get it, but you're going to have to deal with it. I don't love those twists. I love this twist because there was still, I realized when they reveal him that there was still a part of me holding on to the idea that it wasn't him. And the way it like crystallizes in that moment and you're like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, it's still like, yes. And like, she describes it like what she wanted to be the shocking part of this episode was the body count. She wanted like Jackie and the Yord were going to die. And that was going to be the part that was like, you thought it might be one of them. You thought it might be neither. Maybe they make it out, you didn't think it was going to be both of them for sure. I had suspicions, but I didn't think both of them were for sure going to go. She said that the best way to go about a reveal like this is to do it so bluntly and brutally that you have no choice but to be floored by their straightforwardness, basically. Just being like, oh, oh, we're just doing it. And I thought that was just a brilliant writing choice. It reminds me of Rian Johnson a lot. It reminded me a lot of some of the Last Jedi reveal of him not being there and him being like floating on the, like you expect that there's something else going on there, and then when it does, you're like, oh, you and it's strong, when Kylo kills Snoke and stuff, you expect that this is it. He's turning. Thank God. And then he's like, join me. And you're like, fuck, and there's a bluntness to it. There's just and I love it. So I adored that. And I thought that this was, I mean, we don't get a lot of straight up mysteries in Star Wars. There's like long spanning mysteries. It's like, oh, how did these fall together? How did this happen? What happened here? Like what's the long term adding up of this? But easily the coolest mystery reveal of the show, of any Star Wars TV show, I would say.
This was, it's almost like they were playing with the fact that you did know, like that, and because at the last moment I thought that this was Osha and May's other mom. I still forget her name, but
Coral.
I was still holding on to that until the last second, and then when it was him,
and I think that they knew. I think they knew that you might be holding on to that as well. She says like my mom had that power, and he says you like, don't recognize me, like that whole thing. Like there's a little bit.
I was thinking, but no, the reveal, and then I realized how much I slept on him, and then I'm like, and then it all, I don't know, it all crystallized, and I liked it more, and that was initially actually one gripe that I had of the episode that went away after watching it again is I didn't like how fast Jackie and Yor died. I was like, especially Yor. Jackie was a little more earned because of the reveal and
She
like
got
the way it happened.
she got a
it
moment.
Seems that her moment was nice. Yours was harder for me to accept at first, and I'm like, I just don't feel like he went out. It just felt like he jumped in out of nowhere, got his neck snapped, and thrown away. And I was like, at first, but then now it is like to show that like that's just a dude who was a character that's just ended. Like all of these other
They're
Jedi,
not safe.
Yeah, like all of those other nameless Jedi that we haven't seen all have a life as well. They're all like they're not just actually nameless in the in the universe. So it is crazy that it's just like this is how
dude
the Sith
incredible
are villain. Yeah, like it's just
incredible.
The villains,
like this was best episode of Star Wars live action since
Andor.
Since Andor, I gotta be real, like there's there are high points. I don't want to undersell Ahsoka and Mandalorian season 3. I have a good time with those shows, it's worth noting, and I feel bad for this because hey, everybody's welcome to love what they love, like what they like, and I like Ahsoka, I do. I watched Rebels front to back, was like I'm gonna watch Ahsoka. I have not finished it, and that was weeks ago.
Yeah.
And like, it's just, it's not the same. It's not gripping in the way that other things are for me, and I know a lot of people whose opinions I really trust and people who they love Star Wars. I know they love Star Wars, who that is their favorite Star Wars show. And I love that for them, like that's, I'm never going to be someone who's like, if that's your favorite Star Wars thing, I got to question you. No, like, you love what you love? Fuck yeah. But Ahsoka is simply, it's simply not what I thought on rewatch. I'd be like, let's get it again. Let's see if it didn't. I actually got through the Anakin episode and haven't picked it back up.
Yeah, that was kind of the only one that was like cool. Like, kind of just cool to see Hayden Christensen.
Well, and even that, like, this is cool in a way that like...
That's not.
When I rewatched that, I was like, it's just so much nothing. It's just a lot of like, whoa, here's them doing this. Here's them doing this. Don't you love seeing Vader and Ahsoka do this together? Don't you love seeing Anakin and live action Anakin with Ahsoka? Isn't that cool?
It's better when
what's
we
the
don't
lesson?
know these
Live or
people.
die.
Yeah, it's so much better when we
What's the lesson? Live or die. Okay. Fucking, of course the lessons live or die. I don't know. Like, there's nothing she actually fucking learns in that episode. And I think that's really interesting to me. And I understand if there are other people's perspectives and they feel like she does, like she learns the will to live again. Yeah, sure. I doubt Ahsoka ever lost that, I don't entirely buy that. So there's a few things there, but that would have been the most exciting one. There's some highlights in Mando season 3 that I really like. I like episode 2 of Mando season 3. I like the pirates invading Navarro. That's a fun episode. Like that's, they've got their moments. Yeah. But
moments, not. I don't know. This whole episode kind of had.
This was strong. And then when I rewatched it the third time, I watched Day and Night. I watched 4 and 5. Both directed by the same guy, both written by the same people, and man, do they play well back to back.
Perfect missing puzzle piece that we wanted last week. We were like, man, it would have been really nice if we could have got this fight. But then it would have been like, well, it probably would have been over too quick. So they're like, well, actually, we'll make it the whole episode pretty much. And then have cuts of
it's really strong.
Else,
I'll eat my fucking words. That was one of my things last week, but hey, I loved it. But Soul screams as she collapses, and then looks down on her and says, shocked, Jackie. Chimere chides, was that its name? And Soul says that she was a child, and Chimere blames him. You brought her. And he looks to his right and spots May, and he returns to his affect of the drunken potion maker temporarily and goes, hello. And pulls off his cloak, tosses it at Soul, and pulls her in with a force choke, which, again, just ludicrously hot. Just like, unbelievably attractive. Like,
God damn it! Why couldn't we have this ability? Oh my god!
I mean, like, like his arm sticking straight out. Like, there's a way he's lit that the other characters aren't lit like that, which is really interesting. Like, there's a shimmer on him from the moonlight that doesn't happen to anybody else, which I gotta think is purposeful as well. They're just like, look at how hot this guy is.
You know,
but,
maybe Vader, he's a dramatic for like the darkness and the coldness and the fear and whatever, to make a grand entrance. Maybe Chimera, you know, he's just a dramatic for looking hot as fuck while he does it. And that's
this was the first time in a while, you know, like a lot of the marketing for the Acolyte, and you know, there are complaints about the marketing for general Star Wars stuff these days, where it's like, it's just such an honor to be a part of this galaxy. You know, like the actors being like, I can't believe I'm in Star Wars. This is so cool. And a lot of people are like, there's been like 12 shows in the last couple years. Like, it's not this unachievable entity anymore. I don't entirely agree with that. If you grow up loving Star Wars, it's fucking astounding to ever achieve that. But there is something to the idea that with the amount of characters that we are getting, there's obviously a pride to be taken in your work no matter what. I think that with my entire being, you know, I think that when it came to Andor, you know, there were almost certainly a few actors who are like, I feel blessed to have been able to portray this character, you know. I don't think there is a single person since the movies who can feel more proud about playing the character they're playing than Manny Jacinto as Chimera. I think that's got to be there is nobody in Star Wars who feels cooler about what they're doing than him.
Yeah. This is if I could wake up tomorrow and be in a Star Wars movie and just replace a character right now. Yeah.
That's
please. Oh my god. No, yeah, he's taken over the show, and I don't know. I want to see, you know, his master. I'm assuming this to be true as well already.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Yeah, like people are getting lost in the semantics. He goes, you know, like, well, let's go with this for a moment. Soul, you know, when she reaches his hand, he taunts that you never knew it was me, not even deep down. You know, like, really? And Soul charges him then, and Chimera battles him off with one hand, and then holds May at saber point. And he taunts him now. You attack me with my guard down? That's not very Jedi-like of you. And Soul turns off his saber and tosses it, and he asks what Chimera is. He responds, I have no name, but the Jedi might call me Sith. And people are getting lost in the semantics. The Jedi might call me Sith. He doesn't claim that. He doesn't go, I am Sith. You know? He doesn't go... I mean, and Sith notoriously have names, like Sith names. Darth something.
True.
That is a lore-established, long-running thing. So there's a few things in this episode that people are latching onto, and understandably so, that this doesn't really pick up on at this moment, but I will talk about the character design and one of the musical motifs later on. The helmet he wears and the gauntlet he rocks matches very closely. The helmet obviously reflects Kylo a lot. The bridge on the back that barely juts out, it's not Darth Vader's long, you know, it's that short little thing, and you know, the slit for the eyes. There's a very similar thing going on there. The gauntlet paired with the mask is very reminiscent of Ren, the man Kylo killed to become the leader of the Knights of Ren. So, and then at the end of the episode, when he's kneeling over Osha, there's music that kicks in that is Kylo Ren's theme. That is Kylo Ren's motif. So there's a lot subtextually and implicit in this that does point you in a direction that maybe he's the first Knight of Ren.
They like worship him. Yeah, like these are like the followers, the distant.
Yeah, they are his acolytes.
Oh my god! Whoa.
You know, now that could be very interesting. However, they are called the Knights of Ren, and their leader was called Ren. Hard to say, you know. But
yeah, is the title of Ren just always passed down, or
yeah, maybe he becomes Darth Ren, and then Ren becomes the name for, you know, like that could be cool. But regardless, I think that could be interesting. I'm gonna take him at his word for now, that he is Sith. I think that I think he's doing his best to not be seen, obviously. You know, he says, "You saw my face, I'm going to kill you." I don't think he'd just be like, "Well, I'm Darth whatever the fuck. I'm Sith." You know, he's still shrouding himself in mystery. He's not going to be like, "Well, here's my whole deal. You know, here's everything you need to know about me." That's not what he's going to do in this moment. So, like, I'm taking him at his word. I do think there's a possibility that there's something that descends from him that becomes this little cult of the Knights of Ren. But I don't think it's something where he like goes out on his own and founds the Knights of Ren or anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking him at his word that he is a Sith, and I'm still 100% of the mind that he's the apprentice. But
he's got too many abilities, too much to like not be. I don't know.
I mean, if he's not a dark side user, he is a dark side user. That's clear. If he's not a Sith, he is entrenched in that shit. Like, he is using it. But yeah, it's not. It doesn't look good for the Jedi. You know, and Soul questions him. You know, why risk discovery now? And he jokes, saying, "Well, I did wear a mask." Which, again, like, Manny Jacinto is so fucking good in this episode that, like, that line, there's an edge to him, and this, I mean, he's still, like, the version that he's putting on in the first few episodes isn't entirely not him. You know, like, that, I think beneath the layer of evil that he possesses, that's what his personality is roughly like. Obviously, he's probably playing it up. He's probably being a little bit of a caricature, the drunken, playful, hello, you know, like that whole thing. Like, but this was like, well, I was wearing a mask, you know, like that obviously shows that he's got a funny bone. He's playful, but Soul questions again, what do you want? And his response is simple: freedom from the tyranny of the Jedi, where he can do what he pleases with his power, however he pleases. And he says he wants a pupil, an acolyte. But this one, and he gestures to May, betrayed me. She exposed him. So now, I have to kill everybody. Nobody can know. I don't make the rules. The Jedi do. They say I can't exist. So you all have to die, because you saw me. And I thought that was an incredible scene. Incredible scene.
So
just this whole sequence after Jackie's death, unbelievably good.
I guess with the Sith, like, the rule of two, you have to, like, the goal is to kill your master. Like, it's kind of the goal, kind of the master and of the apprentice. You know, it's like the master almost wants it a little bit, but will hold off as long as they can. You know, I guess until they're not as powerful enough or whatever. So, like, whenever you become an apprentice, are you kind of like taking that penalty, like you know you're taking that penalty on, or are they doing it blindly? Like
I don't think it is expressly. It's hard to fathom the Sith because it's not logical. You know,
I hit the wrong button to unmute myself. That's my bad.
That's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Sorry.
Not Sith, but the Sith. You know, like, what's tough to understand about the Sith is that they are horribly illogical. They are blinded by hubris. They are blinded by pride. You know, like, they take on that challenge because it exists.
I see.
You know, like, it's like they know they are powerful enough to do that, and I don't think it is. I don't think the master accepts that it's an inevitability. I think the passing on of aura, if you will, goes both ways. I think that if an apprentice rises up against a master and the master kills his apprentice, trying to find, he just goes and finds a new apprentice, and that's now, like, he was Sith. He's not Sith anymore. He's dead. Like,
I see. Yeah.
One of my favorite ideas right now, it's tough to say how much they'll dive into it, is that his master is straight up Plagueis, and Chimere is the apprentice prior to Palpatine. Like,
yeah, I guess that just means he's gonna die in some way, or
and I wouldn't love that, but it does feel like feels like a Loki, like I like him a lot.
Yeah,
there's bigger fish. Yeah, Qui-Gon, there's always a bigger fish. Like it's and I think that applies here. And I worry about the fate of Chimere for that reason. But he could always go the Maul route, end up becoming this Ronin of sorts, like, and I would love that, because frankly, I don't want this character to die.
Yeah. No.
Which is like, obviously I didn't want Jackie to die. I didn't want Yor to die. I don't want Soul to die. There's an inevitability to that I'm like, I've made my peace that Soul almost certainly will die. You know what I'm saying?
Is he our Viserys? Like, I thought we were like, yeah, he's dead, like, for sure. But I feel like next episode, like, I don't know. They're still in. Is Soul still in the woods?
I think it'll be a finale thing.
They got to the ship, right? I guess at the very end. So they're not still stuck in the woods. But yeah, you think, he's going to the finale? Wow, that late?
Yeah, I think he makes it to the end of the show. Yeah, I think he makes it to the end of the show, because episode 7 is directed by Kogo Nada, who directed the first flashback episode, and I think we get whatever the pairing episode is for that one.
I see. True.
And I think my suspicion is that 6 and 8 will be the other pair.
Okay.
And we are going to leave 6 on something of a cliffhanger. Perhaps Soul
go back
telling.
Okay.
And so like that's kind of where my head's at.
That would make sense. Okay, now it kind of does lay out perfectly.
It does. It really does. And that's why, like, I think it'll be a final gut check. I don't think it'll be like, I don't think we barrel towards the finish. He dies next week, and then we are dealing with just Osha and May.
True.
In the finale. They both possess too strong of a connection to him in some sort of like, obviously Osha's connected to him in a very personal way, but May has a deep-seated resentment against him. So like, they're both connected to him deeply, to the point where that's the culmination of the show. Like, their relationship is obviously very important, but whatever it is regarding Soul is the climax. That is what we are building to, and I'm excited to see whatever that might be. But yeah, so I've made my peace that Soul is going to die. I have the suspicion Osha will do it. And May will have succeeded in killing a Jedi without a weapon by having Osha do it. And I think that she becomes the Acolyte of sorts,
Whoa.
Yeah, that's where because I think the end of this episode, the face-off they have between May and Osha. Osha is obviously she is so confident. She believes in Soul with all her heart. When that trust gets fucked, there's going to be an anger there. There's something inside her that is not going to be okay with that. She talks about how she struggled with, attachment and all this. And when that attachment is broken and that trust is broken, like, I think it'll be bad.
Yeah. There's this orange dust, that's kind of left around. And it's seemingly left by Chimere. Whatever he does, I don't know where it comes from.
I think it's soil.
It's just part of the land.
Whenever May and Osha fall, and it like puffs up around them.
Okay.
I think it's just part of the land.
Oh, okay. Well then, I guess there's still one interesting shot of, we wake up with Osha waking up.
Yeah.
Osha walks and stands kind of in the center where
of that
Chimere would have done it. And I don't know, it was interesting having her just stand right there. Maybe it was just a cool looking shot.
I mean, it's a good visual, but it could be a strong foreshadowing that she is going to eventually possess this power,
and she's gonna just
lash out. And I anticipate that her force sensibility is obviously growing. After last week, where she senses it, and this week she senses Jackie's death. It's not even Jackie doesn't yell or anything; she feels it. She goes, like she stops and she's like she feels that Jackie died, and that's so her force sensibility is coming back. I think we're building towards her becoming the dark entity here.
Wow.
But yeah, this he says the Jedi say he can't exist, so they all have to die because they saw him. And Sol and May look at each other, and Chimere taunts, "Oh, look at you two, back where you started." And right then, Yord attempts to ambush Chimere. He picks up his helmet and disarms his saber, but his goes down in the process. Chimere quickly ends the bout, separating Yord's shoulder and then his spinal cord. Yeah, snaps my boy's neck, tosses him away like nothing. Yeah. And I will note, it's the only time Yord ever broke the rules.
Oh no.
He attacks an opponent who has his back turned to him, and he is armed, but
You're right.
it's not,
You're right, yeah.
And he kills a Jedi without a weapon.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, he did. Definitely. 100% disarmed. Both of them didn't. Boom. That was pure power right there.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, yeah, it shows that it can be done.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And last week I remember there was a line he delivered to May whenever she's like, "It's not possible," and he's like, "It's not impossible." He gets kind of annoyed. He gets kind of like, "God damn, man!" Like,
done it so many times. Fuck.
He's like, "Dude, this shit is light work. Get it together." But I thought that was strong. But May runs away again as Osha watches Yord's death in terror. And she doesn't hesitate when she sees May running away this time and brings her sister down with the stun weapon. Both unarmed, Sol attacks Chimere. He channels something dark and beats his ass a bit. Sol gets him here.
Yeah, he does.
Like if he wanted this guy dead, he'd be dead. And toss him around, and then he pulls his blade. And he's ready to kill the unarmed man when Osha stops him. The way he rears back and brings the sword to his neck, and there's tears in his eyes. Like, that's why if Manny Jacinto, again, wasn't so fucking good, I would be going Li Jung-jae, because, my God, is the depth of emotion he's able to access while still maintaining such a, again, collected facade. Seeing those cracks here, I loved it. Seeing that, the emotion kind of overcome him.
That's kind of crazy. The difference of Chimere's collectiveness, like how collected and dark he is, and then seeing when Sol is kind of tapping into the dark a little bit and how it makes him not himself.
Yeah.
And
I think it's another. We're talking about how Chimere's taunting them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what he's doing. He's he's just kind of like,
you guys,
I can do what you do, but better. And when you try to do what I do, it destroys you. Kind of like it's
God.
he says here momentarily, rules, rules, rules. If you never follow them, you never have to break them.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Chimere seizes the opportunity to ask Osha when she stops this. "Oh, is this your master? You trust him even after everything he did to you?" And tears in his eyes, gripped by fear, Sol says his mind is twisted by darkness. And Chimere retorts that he's accepted his darkness. What have you done with yours? And that's when Sol kind of comes back to himself. He backs away, disarms his saber, and an Umber Moth flies overhead. And Pip takes notice and alerts Osha. Osha takes notice and alerts Sol. And he deactivates his blade, saying, "The Jedi do not attack the unarmed." Kind of question what he would have done had there not been Umber Moths overhead. because it became beneficial for him to disarm his weapon. But rising to his feet, Chimere says, rules, rules, rules. If you never follow them, you never have to break them. And OSHA pulls off.
Is that a little jab at like him not actually being Sith? That he's like, well, I guess does every Sith not follow the rule of two because they all take their own apprentices anyway?
They all take their own, like none of them. Like that's what's funny about the Sith is they have a code, they have their rules, but like they're the Sith.
Yeah, it's
like it's antithetical for them to have rules.
It's like in the name, or it's like there, but
in the job description, they're like, okay, sure.
It's one rule that kind of keeps them breaking it over and over. Maybe that's the point. I don't know. Maybe it's like Bane, or isn't that Darth Bane the one who established it or whatever?
Yeah,
I thought so. But yeah, it's like maybe he was like, I know people are never gonna accept this as a rule, so it'll just keep the Sith alive forever because they'll keep breaking it over and over and over with more apprentices and everything. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be really cool to see if we get just like a deeper side into like how the Sith just kind of function,
operate. Yeah, I would love
their
that.
perspective.
I would love.
Yeah,
I'm curious. Like, is the Acolyte a miniseries?
Yeah,
like, is there like
are they testing the grounds here, or are they?
Yeah. I'm curious, it feels like a miniseries. It feels like this story, like, I don't know how you continue this story specifically if it's not about the Sith, like, if it is though, you certainly could continue the story, if it is about the lineage of Sith leading up to Palpatine,
dang,
you could continue this story for a little bit,
That would be nuts if OSHA just replaces May as the apprentice and that's like season 2. Like that's, OSHA just becomes the new Acolyte,
dark,
and like maybe it is Plagueis, Chimere, and then OSHA. Like right now is kind of, and then that's how we kick into season 2 maybe. But I don't know. That is, and I guess I didn't even think about a season 2 possibility.
I don't anticipate it. I don't not anticipate spinoffs in some capacity. This will almost certainly result in a book about Chimere specifically is probably the character that will get a book out of this if I had to guess. Comics, there's almost certainly material to expound upon here, but anywho, rising to his feet, Chimere says, rules, rules, rules. If you don't follow them, you never have to break them. And OSHA pulls off the flashlight component of Pip, apologizing to him and telling him she loves him. And as Chimere calls his saber, she rushes behind him and places the flashlight on his back, retreating to Sol. The Umbra Moths attack, and Chimere is occupied, quite literally, as he is picked up and taken far away. And then OSHA takes this opportunity to ask Sol why Chimere would say that, about being able to trust him. And the sun rises once more as she asks directly, "What did you do?" And he promises to explain again, but May cuts him short, stunning him. And truly face-to-face for the first time, May lays down her weapon as OSHA approaches. She is visibly happy to see her sister, but OSHA doesn't share the same joviality. She asks what May has done, and she implores what I needed to do, for you, for our family. And OSHA blames her then for what happened tonight, and that night, the lives lost. And May says they got what they deserved, and OSHA defends them as more family to her than May ever was. And May asks if she even remembers who they are, where they come from. And OSHA does, and she says that May is the violent one. She wouldn't be alive if not for the Jedi. And May pities her sister here, says, they've brainwashed you, turned you against me, but it's okay. I can help. And like, I think there are echoes of Anakin again. Mm-hmm. You turned her against me. Mm-hmm. I think that, again, I think they're playing with that quite a bit with the May OSHA parallel, but she embraces her sister and tells her that she loves her, and she asks that she choose them again. Choose her. Choose us. And OSHA hugs back as a tear falls, and then she counters. She pushes her sister into an armbar and says that she is a criminal who must pay for her crimes. And May, genuinely dismayed, asks what she's doing. And OSHA replies that she's doing what she came to do. Arrest her. She says she's done this to herself. She followed a false master, and May retorts that so did she, and counterattacks. OSHA says Sol saved her life, and May asks, what kind of life is that? A life without purpose, without love or family? And Osha gut checks her, but May force pushes her and kneels over her unconscious body, saying, "You never did learn to block." And she bends over and cuts her own braids, ready to pose as her sister. And if I had a nickel for every time this week where a character in the shows we are covering decides to go undercover as their twin, I would have 2 nickels. But it's weird, it's not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
That is weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess wow. Yeah,
she's playing her own sister. Brilliant.
Yeah, I love that meme floating around.
I love it.
I don't know.
She's playing her own twin.
Brilliant. We're in a good, I don't know, it's a good time in TV.
Good
right
TV
now.
time. Good TV time.
Yeah, but that is weird. Now a lot of twin stuff right now. For whatever reason.
Winning.
So
yeah, no, but I just thought that was funny, and I mean, it creates a really interesting contrast here because elsewhere, Chimere finishes off the Umbra Moths as Basil approaches and finds the flashlight component of Pip, his head, and he sniffs it and follows the scent. And May, now in disguise, approaches Sol, who, panicked, asks where her sister is. She replies that she's gone, but we have to get to the ship. And arriving at their ship, now 2 in number where they were once nearly 10, the air is sad, and Basil follows them on board, sniffing out either May or Pip. I can't tell.
Yeah, he's like, I think that's what his look is. He's like, this is.
He's like, hold the fucking fort.
It's like, this doesn't track. And I think that's, like, he will literally tell Sol that it's not, or whatever. Maybe.
Unlucky for them, the guy who can understand Basil got his neck snapped.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm assuming they have a translator.
No.
They'll figure it out.
Well, if he just starts going, rah, rah, I don't know. Like, yeah, he's like, I don't know. I think he can make it clear.
Basil
is
home.
Yeah, he speaks. He speaks basic for the first time.
He goes full Caesar in Planet of the Apes. Really, really strong choice here is that I don't believe Sol tracks that this isn't Osha, but Chimere knows for a fact that his isn't May. And I think that's an interesting contrast about the connection and the idea that the Jedi prevent real attachment.
Yeah. Wow.
I think this will lend to the distrust Osha has for Sol a little bit more, that he can't even tell her apart from her sister.
Man, it is just like they're kind of handicapping themselves, but for good, good morals and good reasons, I guess. So I'm not like mad at them for doing so, but it is just kind of like, it'd be nice if they could tap into this every now and then and have that the juice, I guess, if they need it. But
But elsewhere, Chimere picks up his helmet, a beautiful copper color in the daylight. Absolutely love that. And he finds his way to Osha, and he kneels over her body and force heals her. And he says, "What extraordinary beings we are. Even in the revelation of our triumph, you see the depth of our despair." And the music flourishes in Kylo Ren's theme, and then we cut. And
what triumph is going on right now? Like, what's the
defeat of the Jedi?
Okay.
I think just killing Jedi.
Like if she knew the truth, maybe she would see this as a very big victory. I guess. Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's just we're hitting a pivot point, man. Like what happened before, like what comes next is different.
Okay. I guess I didn't think about this. I guess we're going to get Chimere telling Osha the side of the story first, and it's probably going to seem really, really, really bad for Sol. And then Sol will tell his side of the story. It's still going to be bad, but probably not as bad. We'll get the actual
the Last Jedi influence that we were discussing. Like it's we got the one side. We'll get the other extreme side, and we'll probably get the real story that isn't. It's not great. It's not a great look. For a moment you give in to the dark, you let it overwhelm you, but you realize your mistake. But by then it's too late. Like that's. Yeah, and that's enough, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what happens because, man, this episode, I've liked the first 4, I have. But this was a different level. This was a different level of good, man. Yeah, it is.
This one's number 1. If we were rating it, rating these, this.
Yeah, this would be a 10 enjoyment for sure. Yeah. Probably the only one so far.
Yeah. Confident. But
yeah. But yeah, with that, I'm going to do the plugs, and after the plugs, we will answer our question of the week, which is, who are our favorite Glup Shittos? And we'll get back to that after I do the plugs. Head to Twitter, follow @FULCRUMPod. That's where you'll get any updates on what we're doing. That's where you can ask us our questions of the week. We would love to hear from you. We would love to answer your questions. We got a question from somebody who's not Kyler this week, so that's very exciting. Love that. And we would love to hear from more people. I love you, Kyler, and I appreciate that you hold it down for us. You make it so that we do have a question every week. But we got another, so we're good this week and next week. We actually got 2, so we're set there. But yeah, that's where you can find stuff. Twitter, the Fulcrum Pod, and follow us. Retweet stuff, like stuff. I would appreciate it greatly. Be sure to leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. We are an offshoot of the Penny Bloom podcast. That is our main flagship show. And we have a Patreon, patreon.com/PennyBloomPod. You can find all sorts of stuff for $1.50 a month, but for free right now is the Penny Bloom Dispatch. A little bit more timely of a show. Just this week we discussed the Superman set leaks. We discussed Andor Season 2 news. Joe got on with a little bit of news about gravitational lensing, and we got a little bit about the Voyager 1, and I saw Inside Out 2 and the Bike Riders, and I talked about that. So we got that's a fun show, and that's for free on patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, so you should absolutely be there. And if you want even larger news about anything else going on, Twitter @PennyBloomPod. Very important for you to be there. But most importantly, download, leave a 5-star rate and review. I would appreciate it greatly. Share with one person. Somebody who fucks with Star Wars. That they would dig us. Send us their way. They're loving the Acolyte. That we love the Acolyte. Send it their way. Because that's what we're doing for the next couple weeks, baby. But yeah. So with that. Question of the week. This was asked by my Twitter friend Jocelyn, relatively new Twitter friend. I absolutely adore her. She's so sweet. She's so nice. I'm very excited to answer her questions at Tauntaun Soup if you are interested in following her. It's Tauntauns from Empire Strikes Back. That's the animal that Han Solo rides. It's a play on wonton soup. Tauntaun Soup. So I've always loved that. So shout out to Jocelyn. Thank you for asking. Who are our favorite Glup Shittos? For those not in the know, Glup Shitto, broad definition. It's just it's a side character that you wouldn't even really begin to call supporting character. That's when it comes to movies and TV shows. I have a few book characters that are Glup Shittos to casual fans because they don't read the books. To book readers, a couple of these won't be Glup Shittos, but to you, they'll be Glup Shittos. And to general viewers, they'll be Glup Shittos. Mm-hmm. So it's all a matter of perspective. And I'm taking full advantage of that. I still didn't pick main characters from books. They are still supporting characters, And in some of them, I would even call Glup Shittos true Glup Shittos in the natural sense of the word, or the term. But yeah, so just anybody who's not a main character, not even really a supporting character, they should hardly have a story in theory. But a few of mine do, and I cheated a little bit. But
that's okay. It's a loose definition.
It is. It's broad. It's broad. But yeah, what are some of your favorite Glup Shittos?
Okay, the first one to come to mind. I've always wondered about this guy. It's in the prequels. Let's see. Is this? I think it's Attack of the Clones. I don't know. Could be Revenge of the Sith. But it's whenever Obi-Wan is offered some death sticks at the bar, and he Jedi mind tricks and says, "You don't want to sell me death sticks. You want to go home and actually rethink your life."
Great name on that guy.
Come on, Elon.
Elon.
funny. Okay, that's even funnier. Elon Sleaze Bagano, or Cell Sabagano. I guess both, but either a sleaze bag, or a Cell Sabagano. But yeah, no, I've always just wondered, what did this guy go on to do? What did he rethink? And
how did he grow as a person after this?
What happened to Elon Sleaze Bagano?
That's incredible.
I gotta know.
That's incredible. Elon Sleaze Bagano. Great character. And that is the perfect definition of a Glup Shitto. Good job.
Thank you. So I did nail it. Okay, that's
yes,
good.
I would say that is the perfect idea for what a Glup Shitto would be.
The actor,
in fact,
the actor played Mouse in The Matrix. The little guy who was like,
yeah.
I don't know, had a porn addiction. I feel like is the only kind of thing I remember about him, or like weird. He made the woman in the red dress. That's right. But yeah, Mouse. That's Elon Sleaze Bagano.
Love that.
Is Mouse.
Love that. But I'm gonna go with my first book, like what I view as the true Glup Shittos of the books for me. And that's Joss and Pika Adren. They're a husband and wife duo. Pika Adren, Pikka Adren.
There they are.
Joss and Pika Adren. The concept art for them is not how I envisioned them, because the first time I listened to the book, and Mark Thompson kind of narrates them with like an Irish twang. So they have a little bit of an Irish accent, and there is something like, I love the way books can make your imagination run wild. Mm-hmm. The way they describe them is that Pika is just miles out of Joss's league. Just so far beyond him that it's not even close. I imagine in my head Pika Adren just being the finest woman who has ever lived. I imagine her with like big red hair, a lot of freckles, bodacious body, just a ridiculously attractive person. And I view Joss as kind of like this almost oafish, hairy guy, not like, he's still good looking. They sell him as good looking too. He's not bad looking. He's rugged. He's got a working class hero sort of vibe. And I absolutely love them. They're a good example of what the High Republic has always been good at, which is making the civilians heroes. And they're heroes, and I think that that's really, really cool. But they do play a small role. They're not a big deal. But when they pop up, it's a welcomed surprise. I love Joss and Pika Adren. Pika also has a flirtatious relationship with Geode, which is funny. Yeah, no, exactly.
But I like her more now.
Yeah. Joss is insecure about it. Joss is like, that fucking rock, like,
how do you compete?
What's she see in him, kind of thing. And it's hilarious that like they'll be like, and they looked across the hull, and Pika she's like laughing and like slaps Geode or something, like it's like God, like Geode's got the mat game and so like Geode is a natural next step for the Glup Shittos in the books as well. However, I went with somebody else in his crew, just generally who I've considered one of my favorite High Republic characters, period. Leox Gyasi. Leoxgyasi. Leox Gyasi. He's just Matthew McConaughey in space. Which is really, really cool. He smokes all the time. He's always got death sticks. He's always puffing on them. He's the pilot. He's always grooving. He's got a real free flowing energy in the universe, man. All right.
Need those.
They literally, in the book The Fallen Star, he says, all right. Like, they know that they are making Matthew McConaughey in space. And Mark Thompson does an impeccable impression of Matthew McConaughey to voice him.
That's funny.
So it's just perfect, and he's a really caring friend to the pilot of the vessel crew, Affy Hollow. So I'm kind of giving love to the whole vessel crew here with Affy, Geode, and Leox, but they're good supporting characters. They're not true Glup Shittos in the sense that Joss and Pika are, but to the casual viewer and not reader of Star Wars, they are.
Okay.
And I love them. I love that crew. They're a wonderful team. So that's the beginning of my High Republic Glup Shittos. What else you got for me?
I got a New Hope one. And this is the one I texted you about that like it was a Glup Shitto that I've always had, but I didn't know that it was a Glup Shitto of mine. But you actually were the one to point him out, I think. It was in the cantina, and it's just this dude who is the cuntiest motherfucker standing at the bar, just smoking, just the dude hitting.
He's got the hookah. Yeah.
And Danik Jericho, I guess, is his name.
Fuck yeah.
He is an Anzati bounty hunter, and he's also known as the Eater of Luck, and others know him as Death. Just straight up death.
That's so fucking cool.
So yeah, I off of that alone, I mean, off of just his stance, and then like the camera kind of sticks on him as well. Is like I think it's like we leave the cantina with him just taking like a nice kind of pull or something, or I don't know. The camera sticks on him, and it's just the absolute sassiest motherfucker in like.
Yeah, he's got the hand on the hip, and he's posed. He's posted up, man. Like it's it's a good look.
Yeah, I already liked him, and then I heard that he was Death. And then I'm like, okay, no, I gotta mention him. At least I
love that. I love that. Yeah, if I had to pick a Glup Shitto from the cantina, I would go with the Deveronian that they cut to, the devil-looking motherfucker who's just kind of like smiling.
Yeah,
I love that character. I've always loved the vibe of that guy.
There he is. Holy name, Kardu Sai Malik. That all sounded like one word.
Malik.
But that it's two names in there somewhere. But
Kardusai Malik.
Yeah, that's he's an informant. And he also went by the nickname Labria. Labria? Labria.
Labria? Maybe? I don't know. Labria? I don't know. But that would be my pick from the cantina if I had to go with one. But yeah, I have a few Bad Batch ones here as well. I've got Shep. I love Shep. Pabu's mayor.
Dude, he's a homie.
Big man. I love that guy. Yeah. I love that guy. Just a good dude. And Batcher. Batcher, not like I like Batcher.
Come on, how can't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all just chilling on Pabu
again,
right now, getting old.
Batcher's probably not a true Glup Shitto, but I feel like Shep fits the bill. He's obviously he's got a few speaking parts and stuff, but I feel like he fits a little bit more than Batcher does. But yeah, that's all I've got for on-screen appearances. The rest are comic book.
Okay.
And book I have, but
I have one more Cantina appearance. I don't know if it's his only appearance. Oh wow, he's in From a Certain Point of View, which is the R2D2 in like whatever cute story. Anyway, but it's Mama Nodun, also known as Hammerhead. But he's kind of the dude that just has a really flat head. I don't know, and then like the two eyes. He kind of looks like E.T. a little bit if he was like flattened. I guess. But. It was just another person in the cantina that like he always just looked blazed. I don't know, his eyes are just like super whatever, and I've just always thought he looked funny. But then to find out that he has a backstory, I guess he was exiled from his homeworld of Ithor as a punishment for revealing the agricultural secrets of his species to the Empire.
Yeah, the Ithorians.
What do they know about agriculture that is so?
You'll never know.
This dude got exiled for it. This dude,
exactly.
This dude is the Thrawn of the fucking
the Ithorians.
Yeah, like what the shit? And he's just chilling in the cantina, and I want to know more about him. So
Hammerhead, man.
Yeah,
that rocks.
Hammerhead.
Yeah, a lot of good Ithorians in Star Wars. The crime lord on. Or not the crime lord. I think he's the mayor of Mos Eisley in Book of Boba Fett. Remember that guy? Kind of posts up, and he's got the curved head, and he's got the translator and stuff. There's a good one in the High Republic named Baron Bulin, who's kind of a mad scientist. Very, very cool.
What do they know?
What do they know?
Apparently, he's got a secret garden on Tatooine. So
fuck yeah, he does.
So dude can.
Oh yeah, if you're growing shit on Tatooine, you got the keys, to be sure. But my last few, I'll go with one book. This one's definitely not a Glup Shitto to readers, but is to you. Her name's Jordana Sparkburn. Absolutely love Jordana Sparkburn. I think that she is such a cool passionate character with a spirit to do what's right, and kind of another example of the civilians in the High Republic who have a motivation to do good and want to do right and are heroes. And I love when they do that.
Feel like
She's got a pet that she rolls with. It's I can't remember what the species is called, but it's like a tiger-esque thing that can move almost faster than you can see if it sees the opportunity, if it wants to, which is pretty badass. But
I don't see it. I feel like you're picking like actually good people, like Glup Shittos, that are actually like good at heart, and I'm like just picking all these random ass. A guy that was exiled.
You are picking
cunty,
better. You are picking better true Glup Shittos. I will say you are picking.
I mean, I truly actually don't
pinnacle
care
Glup Shittos
about these people at the end of the day. But like, it is just a fun thought experiment to think of what they're doing in their life in Star Wars. But
right.
I feel like I don't know. I'm just picking bad people though. Like I didn't even.
No, yeah, I went pretty good for my last 3 too, which are all comic based. I have a High Republic Adventures character, a High Republic Phase 1 character, and a High Republic Phase 2 character. So, Sav Mulligan is the High Republic. She is a Jedi Padawan on Takodana who wants to be a pirate and idolizes Maz Kanata and Dexter Jetster and this whole crew. She ends up rolling with them for a little bit. Love that character. Dude, so fucking cool. My Phase 1 character is Master Skier. He's the same species as Bosk. I sent you a screenshot of a page about him recently. If he's like carrying someone out of the fire, out of the flames and stuff, and he's just such a badass. Absolutely love Master Skier. And my last one is Tay Sirek, who is in Phase 2. Love Tay. Just a scoundrel, but loving and ultimately a hero at heart. And so those are the conclusions of my Glup Shittos, which if you read the comics, they're not Glup Shittos, but if you don't read the comics, you don't know who they are. Mm-hmm. So that's how it goes.
Probably for most people, it is that way. I don't know. Yeah, I do love Star Wars, and I just wish, I don't know, I wish I could download all of it instantly and get all of it. But yeah, I need to get into that stuff eventually. So I can. They won't be Glup Shittos to me eventually. I want to be able to claim that. But
that's what I'm taking advantage of right now. I want to be able to use those characters, talk about them as much as I can, while you're not familiar with them, and then once you are, we can talk about them in depth. And I'm excited for that. But those are my Glup Shittos.
Okay, I only have one more, and I wanted to get one from the sequels, just to have a representative. And this guy, he's on I think is it Canto Bight, the casino planet?
Yes,
Yeah, Canto Bight. He's the drunk dude that loads BB-8 up with the gold coins. Dabu Skay is his name. And the reason I'm kind of going with him is because if BB-8 wasn't loaded up with those gold coins, then maybe they don't break out of that prison. Yeah, he doesn't have a gun. So this dude, he's entangled with the Force. He needed to get drunk.
Low-key a hero.
Yeah, he needed to get drunk. He needed to be at this casino.
He needed to think BB-8 was some sort of slot machine.
Exactly. Yeah, and why did he keep putting coins in? You know, nothing happened, and he was pissed off the first couple that he put in. He was like, "What the fuck? You're not working." But the idea is that he just kept, or maybe it wasn't just this one guy. Maybe BB-8 was just going around and collecting them all the whole night. But at least Dabu Skay was the one on screen to do it. So.
There's if I had to pick a Glup Shitto from Canto Bight, it'd be the singing chick. Like when she screams, it sounds like she's singing, and she's got like 8 breasts that are visible, stacked on top of each other.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's an like
just off the look alone. Yeah,
she like screams, but it's like operatic, and it sounds pretty almost. I liked that character a lot, and obviously the Master Codebreaker, played by Justin Theroux, who is rocking the red rose on the white lapel, and he's got the whole James Bond, Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom look going on. I love that. But good Glup Shittos and good question of the week, Jocelyn. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back with your other question next week. So can't wait for that. But with that, we will conclude this episode of Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph Jordan. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
And it's always a pleasure to have you. And I'll see you next week for episode 6 of The Acolyte. Be here, same time, same place. Remember, for light and life.